Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among many other things. Now, I want to thank you, Cassandra, for recommending that I cover this here today. This is, of course, Terra Luna. We're taking a look at Luna, and it's an interesting coin, the way in which it's doing very well, all things considered, not just today, but recently, contrary to how well it's done in the past when Bitcoin was actually higher. So we'll take a look at that, of course. And if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research and just keep in mind that it's important to develop your own trading style. Okay, I try to recommend that in every video I make because some people are like want to try to do exactly what I do, and my style has been developed over years by learning from other people. Okay, so do what you can, of course, to learn what you can from me, but don't be afraid to make sure that you actually have something that works well for your risk tolerance. I'm more of a conservative trader myself. I take profits when I can at any given time. People will probably hold on a lot longer than I will. Some are profitable, some lose because of it. I don't know. Everyone has different risk tolerance, so develop that in your own time. That's enough about that. If you are more of an autopilot kind of person, though, you like to kind of follow trade signals from others, I provide you with trade signals, of course, in my Telegram community, my Patron account, of course, linked in the description below for that. I have about an 80% success rate, and I pretty much just take profits whenever possible, like I mentioned. But furthermore, I help educate my viewers, my subscribers rather, that what to do and how to do it correctly. Okay, just good best practice, things that I've developed work over the point of my life. I've been trading for about 15 years now, and I can tell you it's been a great experience. It was a little rocky at first, there's no doubt about it. Trading can be a difficult thing at first, but you eventually build a tough skin or a good temperament for it. Some people just aren't built for it, and that's okay. But whatever, regardless of those facts, I want you to know you're in good hands here. Feel free to learn as much as you can. Message me on Telegram or other social medias, all in the description below. So without further ado, I do tend to ramble. I apologize for the long intro here. Let's just go ahead and get right to Terra Luna. Let's check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look here at Terra Luna. And just before we do, we look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, get a quick understanding of what's going on in the market so we know exactly why it's performing as well as it is today, right? Obviously, we want to take a look at that. And we always look at, Ethereum as well, just a quick little understanding too, because even though, the coins that I cover aren't always on the ERC20 blockchain, it is important to know that too, because it's the second largest coin in the industry, right? So oftentimes too, Ethereum will respond different to Bitcoin depending on the time of year, and it's a good signal to help us understand kind of what happens with altcoin season. I'll get into that later, but for right now, let's just go ahead and preface the fact that I use TradingView.com desktop application. Get that question every time, so I just need to make sure to kind of throw that out there. I have a link in the description below now for a free month if you'd like to consider trying that out. Try before you buy, of course, but just recommend doing so you get a chance or an understanding of kind of what it's like, because you get more than 2 indicators present at any given time when you have the paid versions. It's much better, much easier to kind of navigate this environment. So just recommend you check that out. Now, looking at the Bitcoin here, the 4-hour chart, pretty straightforward in the sense that the last, 72 hours have been kind of rough. We had a good 16% decrease in 2 days, and today now it's up about 7-8%, right? So pretty standard Bitcoin behavior. These sell-offs are occurring based on the news that's happening for this week. There's a really big expiration date for Bitcoin options. That's an expiration date on Friday, so mark your calendar for that. Then tomorrow we also have some news for real estate over in China. I forget the specific word, but that is definitely causing a ripple. So we probably saw this sell-off likely because of those two reasons. And there's also SEC, some kind of filings going on next week too. There's a lot going on right now, so just kind of try to pay attention to the general news. That's what's causing it. Me right now, I have a short position open for Bitcoin because I do feel like it's going to retrace back down again with the news tomorrow or Friday. Again, never truly know. Historically, though, I've noticed that those things do tend to cause the price to decrease. How much lower can it go? It's already dropped a pretty good amount. Regardless, let's go ahead and take a look here. First of all, price is well below the moving averages. No surprise there. Price is currently getting rejected at 44,000. That was a previous support level. On the 4-hour chart, it hit there multiple times, and it rejected here 3 times recently, and then of course retraced again to test and reject today. So you tell me what your thoughts are there, of course, but I think the 44,000 is pretty strong resistance. We shouldn't see it get past that at least until Monday. That's my guess. Moving forward as well, we got 42,200 as a support level. Below that also 40,000, and then 38,000 as well. So kind of some nice round numbers. We got 38, 40, 42.2, and 44,000. So almost exactly 2,000 apart from each, but 42.2 has proven to be a pretty strong support. Again, these are all support levels established on the 1-day chart. The 4-hour chart doesn't look exactly like that, but these are stronger support levels. Keep that in mind. So that's kind of where Bitcoin is right now. Ethereum, not much to note here. Very similar price action, except for the fact that the price is above 2,900. That's a previous support level, working as a support level now. Even though it dipped below, there's a good chance that, if Bitcoin just say retraces a little bit, we'll see it stay there. But if Bitcoin goes down to 40,000, that support will not matter. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We got a couple moving averages moving above, so I think we're going to see sideways action from Ethereum for a little while, at least until the month is over, because Septembers are naturally just bloody months for Bitcoin, and obviously coins like this are feeling the pressure. No surprise, because again, they're fairly reliant on Bitcoin. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Terra Luna. Let's take a look here. So we look at the 1-day chart first, work our way down. And to quickly note, we look back at the history here. It ramped up in March, kind of sold off. We saw a retracement here in May. No surprise there. That was, the first major, that's the second major Bitcoin sell-off. First major was back in April 17th. So if you can see here, it's pretty much all sideways action during that time frame. And keep in mind, Bitcoin was at 50 to 64,000 in this range right here. Price comes down, and now look at this. Terra Luna hit a high of approximately 43.50. 43.25, somewhere in that range. And that was recently. It got tested twice and rejected. But that is when Bitcoin is sub 40, it's like right in the range of mid to upper 40,000s, right? So we're sub 50,000 right at this range. It's interesting to me how well it's doing compared to, when Bitcoin was at about 60,000, not so much. But I'm going to venture to guess we're going to probably see more volume. Oh, oddly enough, not really. So this is interesting. Yeah. So to me, it feels overextended, but keep this in mind. The way that it's bouncing back today tells me that its average true range should be upper in the $30 to $40 range. So I'm not surprised to see that. It is kind of odd, its history and the way that it's kind of ramped back up and gained popularity again. But I think it just the natural way of how altcoins are moving. So in case you don't know this already, when altcoins transition into kind of larger market capitalization, because I'm fairly certain that Luna was a lower market cap previously, with it being larger now, we have the fact of the matter is that most of those altcoins are the first ones to take off. That kind of prefaces altcoin season, because what happens is Ethereum's the first one to ramp up, which it's done twice now. Contrary to Bitcoin. Bitcoin went sideways for a couple months back in, I think it was May, right after the first sell-off. Ethereum took off, right? And the same thing as well. Ethereum took off as well recently to ramp back up to like an upper 3,000 range, only to obviously retrace back down again. But that's kind of a catalyst. And when we see the Ethereum take off first, then the large market capitalization coins take off second. That's why we're seeing Luna here as well. The Atom, ADA, BNB. There's other coins as well that have done very, very well, and they're all larger market cap coins. What we should expect next is alt season, which is essentially when the low to mid cap coins start taking off. But either way, that's kind of what leading to this here is just that self-fulfilling prophecy that 4 years ago it did this, so it's going to do that again. It's interesting how it works, but just know that October, November, December are very strong months for Bitcoin. So don't get discouraged right now with Bitcoin going all but sideways overall. It's just not it's not time yet, but I think we'll get there. Okay. All right. So taking a look here at Luna. Let's go ahead and take a look, first of all, at the RSI, peaking up over 50 now. That's a good sign. That could work as a support level. RSI at 50 tends to work as a support and resistance level. Also note, though, too, with Bitcoin, the news coming up tomorrow and Friday, Luna could retrace or go sideways for a little bit. We may not see it just stick 100% on an upward trend, right? Normally I'd want to open a swing trade position for my patrons right now, but I'm a little concerned with what's going to happen tomorrow and Friday. Regardless, we got potential for a convergence perhaps in the next few days, as we can see that kind of swinging upwards, and the price is up over the 50 now as well. There's a strong likelihood that's going to close, considering we've got 30 minutes left on this candlestick, so the 1-day chart, we can pretty much safe to say, is above the 50-day simple moving average. All right, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Similar scenario here. It's testing both moving averages essentially. Could very well close above both if we can kind of keep this momentum for the next 30 minutes. But all in all, prices above 70, correction, above 50, below 70. This is a good place to be. Above, right above 50 is good, because can you see this here? You see how 50 worked as a resistance level? That tends to happen. So with it being up over that, if we can kind of hold above 50 and below 70, we should see a slow continuation to the upside. We got a convergence on the MACD here that occurred at 1 a.m. on September 22nd. That is today. So we'll just go ahead and quickly mark that, because this is a very similar convergence on the MACD for most altcoins right now. So if you would have picked up on that, you could have bought the dip on a lot of these coins here. Again, it's easier said than done now, because it's hard to kind of just sit there and monitor all the MACDs out there, but it's still something to pay attention to. And I'll explain what I mean by that, because the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, is really important for swing trade positions. So in other words, if you're going to hold a position for longer than just, say, a day, then it's really good to kind of consider taking entry right around then, especially if the price breaks above the Ishimoku cloud. Let's go ahead and take a look at this here. Not 4 hours later, approximately, the price broke above the Ishimoku cloud after we had a convergence on the MACD. So had you got in on the MACD or a little earlier, you would have got in somewhere in this range here, and you would be in, somewhere upwards of about 20%. You would be taking profits on 20% based on the MACD convergence alone. Okay, so never underestimate that. It's very, very helpful. But with the price being above the cloud right now, that should work as a support, and we should be able to see at least some sideways action here. I'm seeing a lot of coins that pumped up to this point and are going sideways right now because Bitcoin's going sideways right now. Okay, so again, these are all very reliant on Bitcoin. That's why I urge caution going in the next 48 hours, because there's a chance that Bitcoin could sell off again. And if it does, these coins will go down. So, we're at this point where, do we take profits right now, or do we consider holding on? Because if the price goes up instead of down, we miss out on that profit. To me, I always like to take profits, so I'd recommend maybe consider doing so. Trim half your position maybe, and then when the price comes back down, add to your position. Heaven forbid it goes up, buy the next dip and reinvest. Okay, but bottom line here is that coins like this, Luna, H-bars, the other ones that are like doing very well for themselves right now, there's a good reason why, right? There's some strong fundamentals, some catalyst that's kind of pushing the price up, keeping it up. I think it has a lot to do with the 4-year cycle, but also more importantly, simply put, it's done very well for itself. I think it will likely break its most recent all-time high in the next few weeks. Okay. Again, we got to probably wait for October for that, but it could very well happen. Anyways, looking at the 1 hour chart here, let's go ahead and take a look at the TD sequential, kind of see. We're likely in overtime. Yes, we are. So if you're new to TD sequential, when you got a 9, it basically just means it's going to likely stop counting higher. Well, it will definitely stop counting higher, but the price should likely retrace from there. That's what I meant to say. So simply put, if we look here, look at the history here, essentially, when we got a 1 all the way down to a 9, when it sold off that far down, it didn't go much further because it was exhausted, right? The bears were exhausted. They pushed the price down that far for that long, 9 hours straight. The price had to kind of rebalance and kind of consolidate and come back up. It went up to a 9, reset to a 2, and now we're kind of back up to a 9 again. So this is a good, healthy little bull run here, right? We got the up-over pattern that we like, but we need to see some over. We need to see more sideways action before this continues to increase. Otherwise, it'll just come crashing back down. So again, based on this sentiment alone, everything we're looking at here, there's a strong chance that Luna will go sideways and or retrace. Will it go much higher from now? I don't think so personally. We're in overtime, as I like to call it. In other words, we're past that state of exhaustion, so much further increase, unless there's like a short squeeze or something we can't really foresee. We're really not at a support or resistance level. I think we're going to probably likely have the price stay where it's at or possibly come back down. Okay. All right, so just some sentiment there. Let's take a quick look at the, let's see if there's any support and resistance zones, because I just want to double check this here. There might be one here at about 36. Yeah, let's mark that. So 36 appears to be a pretty strong resistance, so just bear that in mind. Because as you can see here, we had this plateau here recently before the recent sell-off. Then, of course, previous to that, we had that as a resistance level. So it spent the most time, I guess, at about $36. So that's probably going to be a strong resistance. Plus, we got the moving averages here as well. So keep in mind, if we can break past 33, trends up to 36, there's a chance it might reject at 36. Unless, again, we get some sideways action here and it pumps and blasts right through there. All right. Again, this is all contingent on Bitcoin, so pay attention to Bitcoin's behavior. That's why we always analyze Bitcoin first and understand the big picture there. and essentially just make sure we know what it's doing. Okay, because none of this really matters if Bitcoin sells off to 38,000 tomorrow, which could very well happen. I hate to throw it out there like that. I'm not like trying to make you worried. Just be aware. That's the key takeaway here. Respect Bitcoin and its influence in the market. Now let's look at the 15 and just quickly call it a day here. EMA and VWAP. You see this on all the altcoins right now because they're all recovering based on the fact that Bitcoin sold off. And we had those convergence on the MACD. So simply put, I don't really need to explain this much, but the price is above VWAP and EMA. It's a bit on the overextended side. I'm guessing we're up over 10% or close to it. We're at 15. So that standard deviation from the VWAP, which is a volume weighted average price, it takes the volume last 24 hours, expresses it as a price. We are, again, in overtime, like I say. So it shouldn't go much higher than this. I'm venturing to guess that $33 is going to be its limit for today, and we'll probably see some sideways action and or retracement. But to answer your guys' question, because I get this question on every video, of course, I would say that my prediction for Luna is that it'll probably get upwards of $50, $60 before year end. I don't think that's any dispute. I think that's pretty safe to say. And the reason why is just based on its history, the way the altcoin season occurs, and the way that we're kind of halfway through that. We got this last minute retracement from Bitcoin before September is over, and we're going to have a strong, probably 50 to 60% improvement next month. Mark my words, I think Luna is going to do very well. Will it 2x or 3x? 2x maybe, 3x probably not. I hope it does, but we'll have to wait to the end of the year to find that out. So if you like what you see here and you like how I do things, please feel free to support the channel, like and subscribe, and or reference my Telegram community, my Patron account more specifically, where I actually provide signals for every trade that I take to my community members. We all learn and grow together. There's a live chat, everything we can kind of do to communicate openly and make sure that it's the best experience possible, right? So take a look at that in your own time, of course. It's a really cool experience. I'll be happy to see you on the flip side. Feel free to contact me through social media as well. I've got all the stuff in the description below. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for making this far in the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.